Sister Silverine, once again, I want to thank you for having these conversations with me. Again, the topic that we have been discussing is parental alienation. And of course, this program is made possible by the Parental Alienation Awareness International Network. And today, now I know last time we spoke about a parent who has been alienated from their child, and the child has matured and is seeking out the parent, either to form a loving relationship, or probably out of anger, they are, approaching that parent angrily. Now, on today's topic, on today's episode, I want to look at the parent who did the alienating. Now they are faced with a child who has become an adult, is probably leaving home. And what advice would you have for that parent now that their child is leaving home? Either the child may be angry with them and the other parent, or in general, or probably the child is forgiving and is leaving home in a peaceful manner. What advice would you have for this parent?
I think in both situations, it's critical. Whether it's a mature child and think that he or she has to move out at some point, or a child who need to leave because he's not pleased with the parent who he's living with, you need to go and seek the other parent. So in both situations, there's a critical time for that parent, because that parent was trying for his or her whole life to keep hold of the child so as to go against the other spouse or for whatever reason. And here you are having full control over your child for all these years, and now suddenly this child decides, it's time for me to move on. So can you imagine what will start happening in the mind of that parent? Not only heartbreak, but there will also be anger. They will also be very upset, sad. So much negative emotions will be creating towards this child. It is as though they are fighting another battle. A battle of custody, or a battle to keep this child. So, in the mind of this individual, there's a lot happening, a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of anger, a lot of who knows what is happening in this child, in the mind of this individual. So this individual literally is suffering at this time, because it is very difficult for any parent to face the separation of their child. But at some point, everyone's children have to grow up, have to move on. So this parent has to learn to practice a little bit of maturity. Maturity means understand that every child have to grow up, and when they grow up, they want to be independent. They want to have a life of their own. Whether they had a mother or a father, whatever, at some point they will grow up. They want to move on. They want to be independent. And they should know that they are allowed to do that. It should not be that even after your child is 20 years, you still want to control that child. No. This kind of control and this kind of dominance over your child shows that you have a problem. And if you have a problem, means you have to deal with your issues in such a way that your decisions and your desires do not affect the growth of your child. And if you really love your child, you will see or you will want the best for your child. You will want to see your child happy. And I think every parent should understand this one point. If you really, really love your child, you will want to see your child constantly happy. No sane parent would do anything to bring pain, sorrow, or grief upon their child. So if you are causing hurt on your child, then you need to fix yourself. It means you need to seek help. You need help. You need to heal yourself. Because if you are happy, you will give happiness. And if you are ill, emotionally or mentally, then this is what you give to everyone. Because you can only give what you have. And so if you are suffering inside, then you make others who is around you suffer also. So these are methods to check, how are we, how am I inside? Am I creating sorrow or pain to others or for others because of the way I think, I speak, or I act? And if I am causing pain to someone, it means I myself, I am in pain. So these are ways to know how you are and what you need to do. If you are happy, you give happiness. If you are in sorrow, you give sorrow. What are you giving? So these are checking points where parents should check. What are they giving to their children? Or what even I am giving to myself? Because people don't know that they give pain to themselves, They hurt themselves. They give sorrow, they bring sorrow upon themselves. And then they will say, because of someone else. Many people fail to realize that the majority of pain and sorrow and even problems that they are going through is because of themselves. And so self-healing will naturally lead to healing in relationships. And if your child is a mature child, and he's a mature child, and he's happily leaving you, he's not leaving because he is tired or he's fed up or he is angry with you. If he's a mature child and he's leaving because it's time for him to leave, then as a parent, you should allow it. You should let go to such a point that if your child have to go out there and find or set up a new life for himself, you as a parent should be of support to your child. If you really love your child. And mind you, there is a difference between love and attachment. Where there is love, there is freedom. There is a sense of freedom. But where there is attachment, there is a kind of holding on. You are my child. You cannot go anywhere. You have to stay in this house. This is not love. This is called attachment. And attachment is the root of all sorrows. All those who are suffering with attachments and those who are connected to those who are suffering with attachments, they all suffer. And so you can find yourself in a web of suffering. You have a mother, father, brother, sister, and I don't know who and who, mother-in-law, father-in-law, and father, mother. So many people knowing about this problem. How many people are suffering? Sometimes because of just one person. One person suffering so much, causing so much hurt and pain among other family members, and become a web of sorrow and suffering. And this is happening in many places, in many families. People are not outspoken. They don't say clearly, okay, this is what is happening. This is hidden. But it is happening. And so yes, and this parent who understands that your child is an adult now, it's about time he go out there and start being independent, planning his future. If he needs to set up a family, a good parent, a loving parent, a mature parent will give this child a full support.
What do you think would be the consequence of a parent not doing that? Because they were controlling the child all along, and the child wants to be independent now. The person who refuses to let go, what do you think would be the consequence?
So the consequence could be where the child forcefully will leave the house. Either run away. That's why you find children running away from the parents also. Either they will run away or do something not very pleasant to get out of the house. You find children like that, They just want to leave the home because there is no peace, there is no love, there is no harmony in the house. So they just find an excuse to leave. Actually, in our newspapers, sometimes we hear this one left. This one is missing. And the news comes, this one is missing. When the police find that individual and ask that individual, why did you leave home? Then they get to hear, well, there was conflict in the home. So, this child will leave the house forcefully or under circumstances which is not pleasant for the family or in society. Some children, when they does not get to do things the way they want it also, they go and they physically hurt themselves. Some people make some plans and so on, which is also not pleasant. Some, because of the frustration, they go into drugs.
So what I'm thinking is that, let's say the adult who wants to start his own family or her own family, and they have this controlling parent who is preventing them from leaving. They don't want them to leave. It could be that they say altogether they don't want anything to do with that parent anymore because the parent doesn't want them to have a life, their own family. And so they might end up being alone. The parent who wanted to keep this person by their side because they know that's all they have. They might end up being alone later on in life when
it happens. Yes, it happens.
Because I know a couple of people like that. The child leaves home and they no longer have time with the parent. Maybe for Mother's Day or Christmas they might go for something, but they, there's no real relationship anymore.
No connection, no bond.
Why do you think that happens?
Because once a parent have a controlling nature, the truth is no one, absolutely no one, likes to be controlled. And once you feel that you are being controlled, you feel that your freedom is lost. And so when you get free, it's like you go on like a bird. So you go because now you get the freedom. You don't want to turn back where you were being controlled. So controlling parents, very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to be controlling. And that also is an illness, Controlling means that you are insecure. Anytime you feel that you want to control, it means that you are insecure. There is a sense of fear of losing. That's why you find sometimes, men think that their wife are their possession. This is my wife. You cannot go there, you cannot do this, you cannot do whatever you want. This kind of controlling nature could in the end be a very dangerous nature. Because the more you try to control someone, the faster you could lose them. Because they will want to go. They will want to move out, as fast as they can. So here this parent who tried to control their child so much end up being alone, but end up suffering also alone. And they may have to suffer like this for the rest of their life. Simply because of this controlling nature. No human being, no individual likes to be controlled.
Now later on in life, I'm thinking, when the parent now is the one depending on the children, you know, in retirement age, let's say, and they may not be so healthy or mobile anymore. I'm thinking sometimes the children, the roles are reversed now because they knew this relationship with the parent, the controlling and the manipulation. Do you think that is something that children, they do consciously as the parent gets older? Because we have a lot of stories where children treat their parents badly. I'm not saying that's all, it's the reason for all the cases. But from what we have looked at, there are a lot of people who alienate their children and manipulate their children. Do you think it's a contributing factor to the way that parents are treated when they are older?
In some ways, yes.
Yeah.
It may not be in all the cases, but in some cases, yes. Some cases you might find a parent very, very good, very understanding, very caring and everything, but a child turn out to be something else, and it could be because of someone else. Or let's say a mother have a son. He's grown up, but he was a loving son to the mother all the way. But after he got married, his wife now thinking, well, this is my husband. Her husband is not married to his mother, he's married to me. And after getting married, of course, wife has the husband for herself totally. You forget about mother. So it is a case, we should say, it's relevant. It's not all the cases, not everyone is the same.
In this scenario we're talking about specifically, the child that grew up with a controlling, alienating parent, if they might transfer that behavior later on in life to... Possibly, and could be yes, could be no. Because mature people, mature children, they learn to forgive, they learn to move on. They learn, okay, this is my mother, whatever she did, or father, whatever he did, he's still my mother, he's still my father. In the end, they will still take care. But then there are those who, when they go far, so far away that they don't even turn back and even look at their parents. Yes. And it could repeat in generations also. Do you think a child that grew up in being alienated, although they may have a family that is together, do you think they will break free from that, let's say, that past experience, that past trauma, or would they carry that on with them?
So also that depends on the individual. Some individuals, they carry it, and some individuals learn from it. And I'll tell you a nice little story. I think I would have told you in the past, but I will repeat it. So there's this alcoholic father who had 2 sons. And one son came out to be an alcoholic, and the other son never touched alcohol. And when both were asked, why did you come out like this? The alcoholic son said, I looked at my father. And when they asked the non-alcoholic son, how did you come out like this? He says, I watched my father. So they both watched their parent, their father. One learned from it, and the other one followed it. So even that is like an individual decision. We could see parent doing wrong, acting wrong, but not necessarily I have to do it if I have a different level of understanding. But if I do not have that level of understanding, then I could be influenced by wrong actions too. Because every individual knows what is right and what is wrong. What it is make us do the wrong thing. Our own weaknesses, our own weak emotions. Because people today are spiritually weak. That's why they take wrong decisions. But if you are mature, spiritually mature, you will understand that this is wrong. I must not do it. And so it takes a lot of understanding and clarity to do the right thing. Take the right decisions in life. So now I invite you to a few minutes of reflection. wherever you may be, just pause for a few minutes and just take some time out and take a look at your life. See where you are. See how you are. Look at what you need to change in your life. Look at what you need to heal. And take the necessary steps to make your life a better one. As I sit, I contemplate on myself, and I ask myself, if I am not at peace with myself, then who am I allowing to disturb my peace of mind? And is it necessary for me to allow myself to be disturbed by other people's behavior, by other people's nature? Why do I take sorrow, pain, and hurt from others? It simply shows that I myself, I am emotionally, I am mentally, and I am spiritually weak. And in this weak state of mind, I do not have the power to control what others say, do, and behave. And so I keep absorbing pain, sorrow, and suffering from others. I now think what it is I really need. How will I like to be? And as I contemplate, I begin to realize that my peace and my happiness really depends on me. And that I am the only one responsible. Thank you.
By Sampex Limited, networking societies for a better future.